Assalamualaikum all. Welcome back to episode number 11 of the Arabella's LCI. I hope we are learning together and you are also trying to sketch your research journey by seeking help from different templates of the LCI. In our previous episode, where we started with the journey of component number 2 of the lean canvas we mentioned, we have touched upon template number 4 and template number 5. In today's episode, we will focus on template number 6 for the second component of the LCI, which is known as patent search. But before we go on with the learning of this template, which is known as patent search, let us learn why it is required to look up to the patent literature and how we are going to add this information into our research process. So let us first understand that why it is required to have a look to the literature search and add this information into the component number 2 of the LCI. Let's have a closer look to this patent matrix. So why it is important to have a look to the patent? In fact, as an academic inventor, it is always important to learn and know about the existing technologies. When we come up with an invention, and any academic inventor would visit a technology transfer office for the invention disclosure, the first demand can be that whether your invention can get patent or not. Now just imagine you came up with a fascinating technology, but the technology already exists in the database of patents. That will reduce the chances that you get your technology patented in the future. So if you have this information already available with you as an academic inventor, at the earlier stage of your research process, you'll make it sure that you work on certain technologies and inventions which will have a larger chances to get patented in the future. So the very first thing is to understand that you review this patent and make it a part of your literature search, which is rarely done by the academic inventors. The academic inventors are very good while reading the research papers, but as I mentioned, very rarely, they look into the patent literature. So the first advantage of doing a patent search is to make it sure that in your future, your invention will have larger chances to get patent. Now the second advantage is that whenever we are going for search of any research articles, some papers are publicly available and some research papers may not be publicly available. So those papers who are not publicly available, we have to pay for those papers. Well, sometimes research journals or databases charge us $25, $35 or even $45. But this is not a case with the patents because they are already readily available in the public domain. The patents which have been granted by the World Intellectual Property Organization, or in short we call them WIPO, it's a public document. And because it's a public document, each one of us can have an access to this extraordinary knowledge domain that is available for us. So if this information is already available for us, why not an academic inventor must seek advantage from this knowledge? So overall, if I say that if an academic inventor review the patent at the earlier stage of their research process, there will be more chances for them to get their invention patented later on. And because this information is widely available, there's a larger chances of getting more knowledge from these resources. Now let's moving on further, that if there are so many advantages of doing a patent search, how an academic inventor can really go through this process of patent search. So in your previous episode, if you remember, when we were doing the article search, we were seeking help from certain databases. In today's search, which is related to the patent, where we will be using template number 6 of the LCI, we also need certain databases or search engines to seek help from. The simple search engine that we can begin with is Google browser. Now once this screen of Google search is in front of us, now our task would be to rewrite the keywords which we have already explored in our previous searches. Let us choose the keywords for our patent matrix search. It's a norm of the lean canvas when mentioned that when we are going for the selection of keywords, we look for a problem, we look for a solution, and we also look for the context of application. Let us suppose the problem at this moment is related to certain faults that can be identified in the cables or wires. The solution what we are looking for, a system that is low cost. And where we can apply this, it could be applied to any transmission lines. So the problem here is faults in wires, solution is a low cost system, and the context would be the transmission lines. Using these three keywords, let us begin a search for the patents from which we can get an information about already existing inventions and technologies in order to solve the stated problem. Along with Google Patent, there is also readily available website through which we can explore patents in more detail. And that is a website of World Intellectual Property Organization. If we go to World Intellectual Property Organization, you will find different resources available there. And from those resources, we can directly access to the information of patents. Let us move on further to look for patents through Patent Scope tab. Once we will go into the Patent Scope tab, we will see a window for simple search for patents will be open. And that allows us to enter the keywords that we just discussed when we are intending to move for a patent search. Let us write these keywords that we just explored. Once we wrote these three keywords, Viper website will start returning back patents to us. So the first patent we found on this window is with the title of Low Cost Compact Frequency Domain Reflectometry System for Testing Wires and Cables. We need to write down a low cost solution as one keyword. We need to write down testing wires and cables as second keyword. We need to write down transmission lines as our third keyword. But now let us learn how we can add the information of this patent in our patent matrix. The patent matrix, of course, will start in a similar way as we started with the article matrix. First of all, we have to write down the keywords in our patent matrix. Once we wrote these words in the patent matrix, now we need to fill different columns of the patent matrix. Now we have to see in depth what are the columns of the patent matrix. The columns of the patent matrix are a bit different from the columns of the article matrix. The first column for the patent matrix is for title, followed up by second column named as IPC. IPC is short form for International Patent Classification. It is then followed up by the column of inventors, followed up by the column for assignees, and then claims. The article matrix though have names of authors, but the patent matrix have names for inventors. The article matrix has some findings, but the patent matrix would have certain claims. So before we start filling information in the patent matrix, let's learn what is this IPC all about. As I mentioned already, IPC is a short form for International Patent Classification. Through this classification, the World Intellectual Property Organization have classified a huge information available in a form of patents under 8 groups. These groups start from A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. where A represents all the patents which are related to the human needs, C represents all the patents which are related to the chemistry, G represents all the patents which are related to physics. Similarly, H represents most of the patents which are related to the electricity. This classification in fact helps our academic inventors to filter down their search process and only look for those patents which are directly related to their research process. The patent that we already explored through the website of World Intellectual Property Organization has a title saying Low Cost, Compact Frequency Domain Reflectometry System for Testing Wires and Cables. If we go in detail of that patent, we will see the IPC provided to it is G01R31/02. As we already said that G classifies most of the patents that are related to the physics, so it shows that this particular patent is coming under the classification of physics wing. It is then followed up by the column for inventor's name, which are represented here as Cynthia first. It is then followed up by a column for assignee, which asks us that to whom this patent has been assigned. So the patent is assigned to the University of Utah. Then there is a column for claims, in which claims are reflected in complete detail of the patent. Though there would be several claims, but for this matrix, let us just fill claim 1. The claim 1 says, it is about a method for determining integrity of a cable under test utilizing a cable testing system that uses frequency domain reflectometry. Unlike this first patent, we can add information extracted from several patents that would be related to the keyword that we have proposed earlier for this patent matrix. This is how we can fill information in our patent matrix. With this patent matrix, in fact, we have concluded the component number 2 of the LCI, which is comprising of one question, 5 items in the LCI checklist 2, followed up by these 3 templates named as keyword search, the article matrix, and the patent matrix. Once we will gather information from all these resources, we will be in a good position to reach to the research gap that you as an academic inventor have to fill with your future invention. How we will move on towards component number 3 of the LCI that I will discuss with you in episode number 12. For today, I conclude the literature search component of the lean canvas for invention. Please wait for episode number 12. And so far so good. Thank you very much and stay safe.